were talking about where you ate when you were down in South Padre. It was
Yeah, my birthday was 2.5 weeks ago.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. So if you're going to be in South Padre, Blackbeard's, you have to go there, right there on the boulevard. And I think it was established in the late 70s or something like that. But
with a warning because it's always busy, right?
it is. Yeah. It's almost like a complex now. It's turned into, it's on that level,
What's that place that's even further down towards the end? That's Clayton's Beach Bar. They've always got live music. It's a big to do down there. It's nice.
And you also have Louis.
I've heard of
that was a big one too.
Well, Blackbeard's is, I don't know, we mentioned earlier in the first segment that I got sick on our trip.
Yeah.
We're pretty confident that we went there one night. It was crazy busy. And Don and my wife don't eat seafood. So they ordered hot dog.
I eat seafood.
You didn't back then.
No, I did. I just didn't eat whatever we had.
Yeah, so they had hot dogs or chicken fingers or whatever. Something off the
I had a grilled cheese. Thank you very much.
Something off the kids' menu. And, of course, the sophisticated people ordered a seafood platter of some sort.
Yeah.
And when we got it, I was like, this doesn't feel like it's cooked all. Like it wasn't hot or fried food. Wow. And I got sick for food poisoning for 3 days, just out.
Oh, it's bad.
Wow. And we're pretty confident we're there. Sorry, Blackbeards, if it wasn't you.
On behalf of Blackbeards, we apologize.
It was I always refer. That's been 5 or 6 years now, right?
At least.
Yeah, at least 5 or 6 years. So you could try it again if we
sure.
We'll just be like, excuse me, chef, please make sure that this is cooked.
I'll get the chicken fingers.
Well, tonight we're not having seafood. We've got jalapeno popper sausages.
Oh, that's right.
And jalapeno poppers. Now, we're not going to dig into it yet because I literally just took them off the grill. They're still pretty hot, so we're going to kind of let them cool for a little bit. But what's everybody, we kind of changed gears, and we've got some drinks going on now. We got to talk about that. That's like our thing. What's everybody got?
Well, as usual, I'm going to default to Ron here. Ron, I'm having a Maui Brewing Company, which is one of the big boys out of the Hawaiian Islands. Maui and Kona are the two breweries over there. And this is the Pineapple Mana Wheat Ale, which I got to say I'm enjoying. And I think I'm enjoying this more than the, what was the one we had over here not that long ago? Was that the Kona?
The Kona.
Yeah.
The regular Kona.
I think I
enjoy
Blue Wave.
This. The Kona Blue Wave.
I think I enjoy this more than that.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to try that. Let's see. Tonight I've got Ryan brought up from Blackwater Draw. It's a border town. It's a Mexican-style lager. And it says that it was a lager born in Austria, improved in Mexico, but perfected in Texas, y'all. Wow. And I gotta say, it's pretty good. I think you guys have tried it already.
I don't know if I've had that one.
You haven't tried this one? Mm-mm. It's good. Ron, you tried it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I had one earlier.
Ron perked up. He's like,
yes,
yeah.
They on point, more? Definitely. I got Real Ale Brewing Company. Sorry, they're Hill Country Bock beer. So I'm kind of sipping on that. It's pretty smooth, and I'm digging it. I'm a big fan of Real Ale.
So. Is this a first taste for you on this one?
No, I've had this beer before. It's I think this is the second time I've had it.
Okay.
Real smooth on the Bock level. When you get into Bock, you can get really heavy. Mm-hmm. But this is a mild one. Really, Shiner Bock is kind of a mild Bock, to be honest. Mm-hmm. In the world of the Bock style, but. No, it's good stuff. Okay. Good, smooth, light, 4.9%, right on the point.
And just to keep it super manly, I went with the Jack Daniel's Black Label Southern Peach.
Ooh, peachy.
And, it is. You can taste the fuzz, and it's delicious.
There we go.
Oh man.
So what's your go-to at Blackbeard's? You have a go-to thing you like to get there in terms of seafood?
When I was a kid, I love the fried shrimp there, and just the scenery of the pirate, theme that they have going. Blackbeard being so nostalgic, and that restaurant just being there as a kid growing up, going to South Padre, taking so many vacations as a kid there, growing up in the 80s. But yeah, that was the restaurant to go to. And so when I do visit South Padre, which I've been told there are some, and I went and visited a few other restaurants there. There's some new ones that've kind of come up in recent times at South Padre, but I was like, we'll go try those, but I got to go to Blackbeard's first.
You still got to have your staples.
So I have to, the childhood, those childhood memories you have.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to, that urge to,
no
you can't, you can't close the door on that. You got to go.
Yours was South Padre. What was your childhood vacation go-to?
My family is not world travelers. So I grew up in Corpus Christi, and we would vacation in Port Aransas. So my vacation spot was no more than maybe 30 minutes away from where I lived.
Slightly dirtier water.
But it's funny because we could go to Port A anytime we wanted to, but we typically only went. Usually, if somebody came into town. So my dad was in. He was in the Elementus Chromium business. He was an accountant for a company called Elementus Chromium. That they made all kinds of different chrome products and stuff like that. And if they had any people come down from Rhode Island or Wisconsin, all these other places, they had facilities and stuff like that, we'd always have to take them out to the beach and go show them the Gulf of Mexico like it was this gorgeous thing. I'm Texan through and through, but the Gulf of Mexico is just Florida's backwash. Let's just be honest. Right. Gorgeous beaches we don't have here in Texas like you do elsewhere.
The Mississippi don't.
Yeah, man.
That is.
Y'all are welcome for that.
Yeah.
Now, this fishing's like the main thing there, right?
So there's really a lot of good fishing spots. Right. Absolutely. So growing up, you could go hit Baffin Bay was close by. The Laguna Madre, which is kind of like that little bit of water in between the mainland and the islands, the Padre Islands, like that. You would catch redfish like nobody's business out there, man. That's some of my best memories growing up was going out to Laguna Madre and just reeling in just big bull reds who will fight you all day long and stuff like that. Oh, wow. That was fun. But even as a kid growing up, there was places going to out in Port A as far as like establishments and stuff like that. They had a place called the Country Cajun, which was you'd get like seafood boils and stuff out there. That was kind of my first experience having boiled seafood. That wasn't a big thing in Corpus. They had a couple of good little places. Shells was a little itty, like it's like the size of like if you took a 7-Eleven and cut it in half and and put 16 tables in there. That's it, but delicious food. Seafood and Spaghetti Works is kind of a ubiquitous one that everybody goes to, but I don't know what it is about being on the beach. Sometimes you just get hungry for like Italian red sauce, and you want some like spaghetti or some chicken parmesan or something like that. I'm not sure what it is, but every now and then we'd always end up out there. So I got a couple of staples myself.
Oh yeah,
we always
staples,
and I always find myself going back to it every time we head back that way.
They stay with you your whole life.
As long as they're really there, you kind of have to go back and you feel like you're supporting them.
I was always told I worked offshore drilling for 12 years. In 4.5 of those years, I worked in the Ingleside.
Yeah, okay, right in that area.
So we catch out of right next to the old naval dock.
Yes.
There, but I was told by the I guess the people that live there in the area that Port Aransas and Aransas Pass was the hidden beach. It really was like the people that don't know. It's not a tourist destination. It was really Texas' most private hidden beach area that really it just wasn't attacked by tourism too badly.
So you've got Port A and Aransas Pass. So all that is Padre Island right there, which is all public beaches. Now you can take a ferry from Port A over to, correct me if I'm wrong, it's St. Joseph's Island. Now St. Joseph's Island is a privately owned island, and I want to say it's owned by the Butt family that owns HEB. I want to say that they own that, or they own at least a portion of that.
Okay.
But Texas maritime laws being what they are, beaches are public spaces. So even though you may own the island, the beach is still a public space that people can come on to a certain portion of it and use it. So you can take a ferry from Port Aransas over to St. Joseph's Island. Ferry only runs, I want to say it's twice a day. And if you miss the ferry, you miss the ferry.
You're staying on the island.
Yeah, you're staying. So if you go to St. Joseph's Island, which has nothing, I mean, we're talking about think about driving down Padre Island to Big Shell, Little Shell, going 15, 20 miles down. There's nothing out there. There's no electricity. There's no running water. There's no structures you can harbor under during a rainstorm, stuff like that. So if you go to St. Joseph's Island and you choose to hang out a little too long and you miss the ferry coming back, well, you ain't coming back till the next day. So I hope you brought everything you need to get through the night. It is a beautiful beach because it's kind of like like we said with Natural Bridge Cabins earlier, it's kind of untouched. You know, it's kind of what beaches used to be once upon a time.
We talked about, I guess we're still planning on doing this, is the Padre Island National Seashore Pins. That's the trip that we're taking in, I think it's November is what we decided.
November,
right?
Yeah.
So heading down there, doing some dispersed camping down there on the beach where it's just completely untouched by power, civilization. In fact, I think there's supposed to be some good fishing down there as well, right?
There is.
Have you ever been there?
I've been down, maybe not as far as we're talking about going. So, back in high school, the goal was always to go down to where we could see people getting naked, because you go down Padre Island so far, the ladies are more inclined to take off certain pieces of clothing and stuff like that. And that was always our goal, was to drive down until we saw that. And it never failed that we did, but the people that we saw that were doing that were not the people that we wanted to see.
It was like the four of us. Nobody wants to see.
Oh, yeah, there's naked people down there, all right, but they're not necessarily the naked people you wanted to see.
They got away from civilization to get naked.
The movies of my youth lied to me. I remember watching like Bikini Car Wash in like the 1980s or something like that. You could just show up with a Jeep and playing loud music, and like the women would just flock to you.
So should we cancel the trip? Because that's kind of like what I had. I just show up with a Jeep.
That's the whole point, right?
Okay, all right.
What about you? Do you have Louisiana beach childhood memories?
No, so obviously beaches weren't a big thing for us. In fact, growing up, my parents, they weren't beachgoers, right? We were mountains.
Oh.
And so we would
Louisiana mountains?
No, we would go to the Great Smoky Mountains every year.
Okay.
And so just about every year as I was growing up, that's what we do. We go to Wares Valley, Tennessee, which is right there outside of Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. And we would do that. There's Dollywood up there. There's Klingman's Dome. There's all these great things. And so I've always kind of had this love of the mountains. I appreciate the beaches too, but for me, a beach, like after a couple of days, I'm kind of done. I've like had enough, the beach. But the mountains, there's always so much to do if you like hiking or if you like doing like shows and all this stuff. So Pigeon Forge's a pretty big touristy area, but that's what we did growing up. Was just going up there. It was always fun, and we'd always drive. My family never flew anywhere.
No.
So from Lafayette, Louisiana, where we live, it's like a 14-hour drive up to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. So, but it was always fun. I mean, it's like some of the best memories I have. Just like you guys are talking about, like your family and your childhood memories. Sometimes there's like a smell or a flavor or something that just triggers it, and I'm back there, in the smoke.
Takes you right back.
Oh yeah.
Ryan, were y'all beach people?
Not beach, we were bay people.
Oh,
right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
we would always, every summer, we would go down the bay and rent a bay house, and we had a little boat. It was just a what do you call them, run around boat, like a 20-foot wooden boat with an outboard, and we would take it out there and we'd fish, and it was always good fishing. And that ended the last summer when we sank it out in the Gulf. We were we were about, I don't know, I think 3 miles, however far it is, to where when it starts getting dark, you can just see the lights on the shore.
Oh, yeah.
Like as the waves bob them down, the lights bob them down. Because we had gone out there, and for those that don't know, my dad is a pretty big man. I'm the run of my family. The tiny, at 6'1", 220, I'm the baby of everybody, right? So my dad's a big guy, and he could grab that boat on both sides of it. He put it full throttle, and we'd jump the waves, and he would help the boat jump more. Like he'd grab it and jump with it. It was fun. With kids, we were loving it. Higher, Daddy, go faster, Daddy. And we're out in the middle of nowhere, just ripping timber noise because the boat was wooden. And we don't know what we hit, some kind of old pipe or oil that wasn't marked.
Yeah.
And water just started gushing in there under the floorboards, and the boat just sank. And we were out there all by ourselves for hours and hours. And that was the last bay trip we took.
Oh, wow.
Now, what?
Obviously, we made it back.
Did the deposit cover the boat?
No, it was our boat. That was our boat.
Oh, that was your. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was our boat. And or maybe that was the next. I take it back. We went back one more year without the boat, and we rented a bay house with a long pier, wooden pier. It went way out there. It had to be like 100 yards out there at least. And my dad almost killed himself out there, and so that was our last trip.
Was that what bay was that y'all went out of? Was that Matagorda?
I think it was Matagorda Bay. Yeah, but he went out fishing one night at like 3 a.m. And again, because he's a big guy, he decided to go throw that cast. And when he did, he put all like 350 pounds of his weight on the pier, and his leg went through the pier.
Oh, wow.
And the board collapsed. And then as he fell over the edge of the pier, it went back up and snared his leg, like trapped it.
Oh.
And so he ended up hanging upside down, trapped out in the pier at 3 a.m. by himself.
Wow.
And he said he struggled for a while, like to climb back up his leg and free it, and he just couldn't do it. And he laid there upside down for a while, and eventually he found the motivation when the tide started coming in and the water started lapping his hair.
Oh, wow.
And he realized, I gotta get out.
Now's the time.
Yeah.
You got to muster up that. Yeah.
He mustered up the strength, and he broke the board. Of course, when he did, then he fell into the bay.
Hey, it's better than hanging there.
Yeah.
And he had to swim back 100 yards with a
wow.
jacked up leg.
Ooh.
And he came in right about sunrise, because I remember as a kid, I was sleeping on the couch, just the smallest one. And he opened the door, and he was backlit. And he was a silhouette, just this limping hulk of a man.
Oh, wow.
And that was our last trip to the bay.
Nope, never again.
Yeah.
Never again.
It was cursed. Anyway, good childhood memories.
Absolutely.
We laugh about them now. I'm sure it's terrifying back then, though. Especially sinking a boat.
The boat sinking was the worst. I was like 5.
Wow.
And where we went first, just before that, we had gone out to what we called a hermit crab island. Way out there was a sandbar, like a rise.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just full of hermit crabs, like you would not believe. And you're like literally walking, they would run out of your way as you took steps. And so I got a bucket, and I decided I was going to keep a couple dozen of them as pets. So I filled up my bucket with hermit crabs. I was going to give them to my friends. Hey, I brought you a hermit crab. Well, when the boat started sinking, my mom dumped all my hermit crabs out of the boat and tried to bail the water. It was a completely futile effort.
Oh, wow.
But so the boat sank, it was wooden, so it turned over, and the outboard sunk the back down, but the bow was bobbing in the water just enough. So they put me up on the bow of the water because I was convinced all the hermit crabs were going to come back and try to like bite me and get me for capturing them. And abducting them and trafficking them away from their family.
In reality, they're the ones that flipped the boat.
Could be. Yeah, it was probably a rescue mission. And but we were out there, and we had, I don't want to belay the story, but we had 3 flares that we were able to, my dad swam under the boat, he found the flares, and it wasn't quite this dark yet, and we saw a boat going in, and we shot a flare. They didn't see it. It wasn't dark enough, I guess. They wasn't paying attention or whatever. And another boat went by, and we shot the flare, didn't see it. So now we're down to our last flare. And there was a pretty long debate between my mother and my father, because he decided what he was going to do is swim back under and grab the gas tank off the outboard, swim away to a safe distance, and pour the gas on the water, and then shoot the last flare at the gas puddle and create a signal.
Wow.
So, and
not to stop the conversation, but look at that sunset.
Oh,
yeah,
that's gorgeous,
beautiful.
Man. I was just admiring that a second ago.
That's something right there. Woo.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. That's about how dark it was starting to get when we were having the gas can conversation.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
And so needless to say, my mom won the debate, and she didn't let him set the bay on fire. But because it was starting to get pretty dark, like I said, all the lights were coming on the shore. You can see the lights starting to turn on on all the piers. They come on automatically. That's how dark it was. And we shot our last flare, and the boat saw us.
Oh, thank God.
And they came over, and they grabbed us, and they brought us in the boat. My dad went back out the next morning, and they actually salvaged the boat.
Oh, did they really?
And they brought it back, and that boat sat in our backyard on the trailer for years. And we finally got rid of it when one day I was out there playing in it, and a yellow jackets had made their nest in it.
Oh, yeah.
And they tore me up.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that boat was out to get you.
Another lesson learned the hard way.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was the year we got rid of the boat.
Well, we were talking about seafood earlier. Are y'all all seafood fans? Everybody like seafood?
Yes. So I haven't always been the biggest fan of fish.
Really?
I've always loved boiled shrimp, fried shrimp, boiled crawfish, fried crawfish, catfish. But here lately, in the last few years, you was alluding to earlier, is like I've started to enjoy different things like trout, tilapia, those type of things. But like I love to fish, and growing up in South Louisiana, we used to go fish in the Henderson Swamp all the time around the cypress knees and all that stuff, and pull out. Y'all call them perch.
Yeah.
But what we call them in Louisiana is brim. I'm sure a lot of people understand. So they call it brim. And then instead of crappie, they're called like sockeye. So it's like white perch. So I'd catch those, and I love fishing for that. Don't love the taste of them.
No.
Don't love the taste. Now bass, It's hit or miss. It just depends on how it's cooked, how it's seasoned. But anything else, and I'll eat, something like that. So, but to answer your question simply, yes, I like seafood.
It sounds like you prefer freshwater fish over saltwater fish.
Well, no, because I don't like brim, and I don't like, I do like catfish. I like whitefish. So if a fish without as much of a fishy taste.
Okay. Yeah.
Now I'm limited in the saltwater fish that I've tried.
Okay.
But I'm open to trying.
Have you tried redfish?
Yeah, I do like reds. Yeah,
reds are good.
I do like red.
I feel like red snapper is kind of ubiquitous nowadays. I feel like you see that I feel like so many things almost classify as a red snapper. They're like, oh, it's a snapper.
So,
eat it.
What's the most exotic or rare type of fish have y'all ever eaten?
I'm not sure how exotic it is, but it was expensive. Chilean sea bass was one that we purchased one time and cooked ourselves and stuff like that. It was good. I didn't think it was any better than anything I'd had before.
I do love salmon. That just popped in my head. Here in the last 2 or 3 years, I've gotten where I really like salmon. Salmon's.
Did you not eat a bunch of salmon growing up?
No.
Ron, what about you? What's a fish that you had? A luxurious fish.
Really, the sea bass that they used to serve at Veritas on University.
Oh, dude!
I forgot it was a style of. I forgot the name of it.
Was it a miso sea bass?
It was the miso
sea
bass.
My wife loved that fish.
It was, and I remember that restaurant was phenomenal.
Oh, heck yeah!
Back in its heyday. Yeah, they had a sea bass. I would say, and like I said, I didn't grow up near the coast,
Yeah, let's
do
it.
Yeah.
But when I worked offshore, we would fish a little bit, but it was the basics, the redfish and stuff like that. We'd catch flounders,
I love
all that stuff. But right. Yeah, I would say I guess the sea bass would be my most exotic. But yeah, I don't have much experience with exotic fish.
So the thought process was they had these jalapeno popper sausages, and I thought, well, how true can these be to jalapeno poppers unless we try an actual jalapeno popper with it? So the idea is to try a jalapeno popper, and then we'll try a jalapeno popper sausage just to see how.
I'm down with that.
All right,
they're still nice and warm.
Yeah. And you don't eat jalapeno, so
I cannot have jalapeno. Dietary restrictions. Yes.
My apologies.
You want to just lick the cream cheese out of one?
No, I'm just enjoying watching y'all eat it because I myself I used to love jalapenos. Like I said, because of acid reflux and me getting old, it was best that we part ways. Too many sleepless nights, waking up and
feel like you're gonna die because your
exactly
throat's on fire.
So, but I think jalapeno is probably one of the most tastiest food items ever made.
No,
but yeah.
Where do these come from? HEB or Kroger?
HEB.
All right. Yeah. HEB is pretty consistent in their heat. I found that Kroger, they're hot. They leave the seeds in.
Oh, do they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're not messing around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Man, that's gonna hurt.
But HEB, pretty consistent. Like the heat's always about the same as I expect. Kroger, it can be hit or miss. It can be like this, or it can be like set your world on fire.
Yeah, one of the last times I had jalapeno poppers was at my parents' lake house, and my brother brought the seafood, the stuffed crab jalapeno poppers from HEB. Delicious.
You're making a face.
But I think that was my last popper I ever had.
Last go around.
That was the last go.
The texture's
weird. And it was one of the last straws. So.
Meat texture?
Yeah.
These are pork?
I think the pork and beef.
Okay.
It almost tastes instead of
Vienna sausage.
Yeah, or like to me, it almost tastes like a pate inside there, like the meat's more soft and super ground up, and yours not like that.
It's definitely a different grind. So like HEB makes a bunch of different types of sausages, right? This was a limited edition one.
That's a potted meat sausage.
And just looking at them, you could tell they were different than all the other sausages.
Okay.
Not quite as full. I'm trying not to use any sexual terms describing sausages, but plump.
I don't think you're quite getting it.
No,
Keep trying.
Girthy.
There you go. Now you got it.
I don't dislike the sausage. I think the sausage is tasty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how much jalapeno popper I'm getting.
I'm seeing it though. You can see the jalapeno in there.
It really does taste like potted meat.
There's
It
not
tastes
the,
like deviled ham.
The consistency is a little different.
Yeah.
You're not getting the cream cheese or the bacon, really. I don't
Yeah,
think.
I don't think there's any cream cheese. There is supposed to be bacon in here, so it's supposed to be I think it's a pork and beef sausage with jalapeno and bacon. One thing that makes a jalapeno popper is that cream cheese.
Right.
Yeah.
That creaminess.
Oh yeah.
It's not a bad sausage. I don't dislike the sausage.
Sometimes the cream cheese burns
But
the crap out of your lip when you bite
It's just
it.
not as
It
advertised.
comes up. Yeah.
Not quite.
There's just a spicy sausage.
Mm-hmm.
If they just called it jalapeno sausage, it would be jalapeno sausage. Yeah. There's no popper.
I think HEB was like, we got a buttload of bacon and jalapenos. What do we do with it? Throw it in a sausage.
It's the meat market got together and put together.
You know,
Yeah.
what grinds my gears?
Yes.
I love HEB. Don't love the meat market.
Really?
Because y'all know I've done a couple of videos on chicken halves, right?
Mhm.
So I will go to the butcher shop at HEB and I'll have like a whole hen, say it's 6 pounds, young chicken, whatever. And I ask them, can you split this in half for me vertically? They will not do it. They say, well, we can't. We'll contaminate the blade. And we'll take the blade off and put another one on. You go to Kroger, however, and you ask them to do the same thing. They said, no problem, we can do that for you.
Really?
And I asked them, I said, how come you guys do it, but some stores don't? And they said, plain and simple, it's because they don't want to change the blade out. Because it is cross-contamination, but they've got extra blades, and that's what they're for. So every time I do chicken halves, you can guarantee I got it from Kroger, not HEB.
Huh.
That's the only gripe I have about HEB. Really, I love their product, I love their service, I love everything about it. But it's just that one thing.
And do you know for sure it's not just a local issue?
I've tried it at 2 different HEBs, but they're both in this area. But I mean,
Right.
both tell me the same thing. Like they said it's against their policy to do it.
Wow.
Okay. So just kind of sad because whenever I do like the prep work for like whatever it is I'm going to film, if it's chicken, I'll usually go to Kroger to get it.
Okay.
But I'll tell you this though, Kroger, like the service that I get, at least at our local Kroger, the one right on Rock Prairie, those guys, every time I've been there in that meat market, in that butcher shop, if you guys are watching this, keep it up, man. You guys are awesome. So I'm very, very happy with them. So I'll continue to give them my business for that reason.
I find it interesting that we have a number of grocery stores here in town, different chains, and they all kind of carry different versions of the same thing. You know, you can find certain pickles at this place and certain chicken at this place and certain whatever, at this place. You would think they'd all kind of go, well, people are buying this. Let's all stock this. Nope, that's not necessarily the case.
I have noticed the differences between our HEB and our Kroger. There are some items that Kroger carries that the Tower Point and Jones Crossing HEBs do not have.
And even Tower Point and Jones Crossing HEB, kind of different clientele. I feel like Jones Crossing is a little more college geared, and Tower Point's kind of more
100%
family.
Yeah. More than like there's a lot of the growth is on the south side of College Station right now.
But one thing though, the Tower Point HEB does not make fresh homemade tortillas. Jones Crossing does.
Oh,
okay.
They make them there in house and they bag them up.
What about the chips too? Do they do the tortilla chips there?
I think they both do the tortilla chips, but the tortillas though, the Tower Point does not have the tortilla machine or the homemade setup. Jones Crossing does. And they sell them right there, which they get taken up pretty quickly.
Do we have one of those HEBs? Because you guys have got one where you live. It's the HEB that's got the smokehouse in it.
Yeah.
Like the barbecue place. Do we have one of those here?
So the word on the street was the Tower Point HEB was supposed to be converting over to that, talking to Mr. Charles, who's one of the managers there. I think they got lost in the works. I don't think that's happening for us anymore.
It's okay. We'll make our own barbecue back here.
I think they, the HEBs were planned and they were built, and they kind of molded, their way about, how the town is.
And I've only tried it a couple of times, but I wouldn't say it's off the charts. Great barbecue. So you're not missing out on anything.
No, it's just not. I think actually the sunset is like reminding me. So I think we're at a good point where we can pause now, because I'm gonna go ahead and light these torches and kind of get some light going, and we can kind of
I think we need a beer refresh.
I need another brew. I think we need to try a new one.
All right, so we'll be right back.